Hey, Steve Granado here. Just a quick disclaimer before this episode starts. I don't know what happened. My mic is really weird in this episode. I tried to clean it up as best as I could. Sorry about some of the bad audio here, but it'll be fixed by tomorrow's episode. Sorry about that, guys. Enjoy the show still.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers, join today and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. With me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, Stace. Happy Wednesday, everybody. And thanks for clicking on the show today, guys. As always, we got a full slate for you today. Later on in the show, since, in case you missed this is my last week on the show. And once we get later on towards the season, we're not going to be able to do this because I won't be here. We wanted to set some expectations for this club. I want to give you some of my kind of overarching thoughts before we say adios here in a couple of days. I say adios in a couple of days. Of course, Anthony Rizzo did speak with Meredith the other day. We haven't had a chance to talk about that, talking about his injury, talking about the lineup, his thoughts on the roster construction. We'll break that down. But of course, Stacey, just like yesterday, we couldn't escape this again, one more time with me on the show, because time is a flat circle and we are a species doomed to repeat their own mistakes.
Yes.
The Blake Snell rumors are still here.
They're still here. They're never going to end until he's signed, obviously.
Same teams for months. Angels, Yankees, Giants, still engaged. Get married already. Apparently, there's a new deal that has been offered to Snell. We have zero information on what that deal is. It's seemingly shorter, you would think. Higher annual.
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk about this. We have been avoiding this like the plague, but it just won't go away.
Yeah. It's like they know it's your last week. They're like, we're going to torture Steve. And we're going to make him talk about this.
Keep playing the hits, man. Look, we talk about Blake Snell, Stacey. I'm going to go on a quick research project. I want to see when we uploaded the Blake Snell episode, the first one. So your thoughts on Blake Snell right now, just where it's at as a whole.
Okay. I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's not signed at all. I'm surprised that the Yankees are the only ones that seemingly offered anything to him. I know he's connected to other teams, but I'm just so shocked that the Yankees are the only ones linked to him. It's nearly March. He's still not signed. I just don't understand. And it's not, I get the walk rate is something. I get the price is something, but he just won a Cy Young. This isn't some like random dude. This is, like he had a good year in 2023. And it's just crazy to me that he's just sitting out there. Him, Jordan Montgomery, like what is going on? It's crazy.
November 13th.
I was going to say, we did it that was a while ago.
We uploaded an episode of Locked On Yankees titled, Should the Yankees Sign Blake Snell? Pros and Cons, on November 13th. And we have been forced to talk about him ever since still, because the Yankees are still one of the teams. It's just, Heyman said there hasn't been any progress here. Has there been progress since that initial offer? Probably not really.
Right.
It doesn't feel like it.
No.
The reason we avoided this is because it never felt like anything was concrete, which is, we talk rumors here. Obviously, we talked rumors in the offseason, but we don't dive into this stuff that much until we feel like there's a reason to talk about it. I guess the reason here is because we're talking about it because it's not going away. It's just still happening. Spring games are going on. The opening day countdowns are going. Like, you're going to start seeing roster cuts soon. Like, that's the stage we're at here. And they're still, he could come to New York. And I'm just like, dude, that is so December. Like
Yeah.
you are so December. We are so done with this. Like I said the other day, go or get off the pot already.
Yeah.
Like
It's,
I don't think it doesn't feel like he's going to get the offer that he wants, right? Like he's not going to get.
oh no, definitely not. I mean, Bellinger didn't get anywhere near what they were expecting him to get. Like, I think Snell will probably maybe have to do the same kind of deal that Bellinger did at this point. I don't think anyone, I mean, obviously no one wants him for a long-term deal. Otherwise he would have been signed already.
Yeah. It's so strange. Juan Soto did talk about this. Obviously Soto was his teammate for over a year. He talked to the New York Post yesterday. He said, quote, "It would be unbelievable to have two Cy Young winners going back to back. It'd be great. Snell's a great guy, a great player. Any help that we can get, I would love." And more quotes. "I know if he's coming over, he's going to help the team big time. It's always great to have a great talent on the team. I would never say no. So it's a great fit for him, I think." Cool. I'm genuinely curious how people gauge this anymore, because it's gotten to the point for me, Stacey, and maybe you can attest to this too. I see Blake Snell rumors. I don't click. I see the Blake Snell, John Heyman tweet posted on r/Yankees. I don't click. I don't read the comments. I'm not looking at discussions anymore. I barely mustered the energy to click the MLB trade rumors articles to prepare for this episode. Like, I'm at that stage of, dude, just somebody give something that makes sense. And until that comes up, I don't care. I guess I just don't care anymore. Do you care?
No, not really. Like at this point, I mean, I'm happy with the way the team is. I mean, do they really need him at this point? They don't.
It would help.
It would help, but it's not like
better in 2024.
Sure,
would be better in 2024.
But it's not like a necessity at this point. And it's just annoying. Like it's like a gnat that won't go away. It's like flying near your ear.
Like when you go to bed and then there's a fly in your room.
Or like there's a ladybug in my room that I don't want to disturb, and she flies and I hear her land on the blinds. There's like a specific noise that it makes, and I'm just like, oh, I'm not going to do anything about it. But yeah.
I can't believe, again, that we're still doing this, that we're still talking about it. I'm looking up again. How many more times are we going to talk about Blake Snell? Like, I just searched on our own channel, and I searched the words Blake Snell. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 episodes pop up.
Oh, wow.
It's in some facet, one way or another, the words Blake Snell were uttered or were in those episode descriptions.
Wow.
That's not even like, I'm sure we've talked about it in passing in some other episode that didn't warrant.
I think that's right. I think that's probably it, because I do the descriptions just so you all know, and it's probably like, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, blah, 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 still haven't been signed kind of a thing, which is probably.
Yeah. I mean, just that episode, Michael King talking about the Yankees in the trade, 6 things to look out for pitchers and catchers. Are Yankees going to bring back Gio Urshela? Are the Yankees interested in Jesus Luzardo? Marcus Stroman? Free agent targets, offseason, Frankie Montas. I'm just like, dude, just can we move on? Sign somewhere. And look, I can't
believe that first big episode was all the way back on November 13th.
November 13th. It is February 28th as you are watching and listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this has turned into a locked on therapy session unintentionally. That was not our plan here. We have all this stuff in the rundown like we normally did. We were going to get into a discussion like, oh, is this good for the sport? No, I don't even care about that anymore. Like, we're beyond that conversation of the, well, Scott Boras and we're done with that conversation. We're done with all of this already. And look, let me be fair. Blake Snell should only sign somewhere he feels comfortable. It's his career. It's his life. He should only do what he wants to do. He has earned that right. That every baseball player earns that right as a free agent. So I guess good on him for holding out for what he truly wants. It's good for him, man. Yeah. But from a rumors standpoint, from a Yankees standpoint, it's like, dude, if we haven't done enough to convince you now, then probably there's nothing we can do for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. Best of luck in the future.
Right. Best of luck with whichever team you end up with in like April.
Gosh, I'm rooting for him. I hope he gets what he wants.
Yeah.
I hope he does. It's just, is he going to find it in New York? I mean, dude, time to make a decision here. It's time to make a decision.
Yeah.
All right. Soapbox done. Again, I'm curious. What do you guys think about this? Because, like, again, I haven't even looked at stuff on this anymore because I'm just so over it. I want to see what people are saying. I'll read these comments. How about that? I'll make a deal with you. All right. While you're down there, Fan Mail Friday, reply to that pinned comment. It's my last Fan Mail Friday here in a couple of days, so make sure you get your questions in while you still can. And then join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club as well. Link in the episode description. There's a whole bunch of really cool perks over there, so check it out. 14 days for free. When we come back, Anthony Rizzo talking about his injury, how he's feeling, and, of course, his thoughts on that roster construction and this lineup.
Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. And by the way, in those parlays, you can bet on someone to score 10, 20, or even 30 or more points in a game. Also, if you're doing a quick bet, you can bet on who will score the first basket in a game and by what method. Will it be a dunk, a three-pointer, a layup? The possibilities are endless. And because we're a baseball podcast, your 2024 Yankees are the favorite to win the American League East. They're just behind Houston to win the American League overall. And Aaron Judge is leading the regular season home run leaderboard just ahead of Matt Olson of the Braves. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA.
Back here on today's Locked On Yankees. Hey, everydayers, don't forget to check out Locked On Sports Today. It's a 24/7 streaming YouTube channel. You guys have heard me talk about it a lot. If you're looking for background sound while you're at work, while you're doing chores at home, while you're unwinding when you get home, cooking dinner, all that stuff, 24/7. Best stories, best shows every day. Locked On Sports Today on YouTube. Stacey, Anthony Rizzo, getting to hear from him. Good to see him. Looks to be in pretty good shape. He looks to be in good spirits, good posture, all that. Like he looks good, right? Like he looks good. He spoke to Meredith the other day. We haven't had a chance to speak about this yet, so we wanted to do that now. We had 2 clips. As always, they're coming from Yes Network. They do an incredible job. So go check out the full interview. As always, they upload everything to YouTube, by the way. If you didn't know that, it's awesome. They upload everything. It's great. Anyway, here's what he had to say about the status of his injury right now.
For you personally, last season did not end the way you would have liked, out with the concussion. At what point in time this offseason did you feel like you were back to your normal self and able to do everything?
Right away. It's weird with the concussion, learning about it. But I felt great all off season, and there's always a little bit of that doubt. But once you get on the field yesterday, when I got here a few weeks ago to Tampa, seeing the live BPs and just seeing the ball the way I'm accustomed to seeing it was a great feeling, and it's just another check off the box. But all off season I felt great. Coming in here I feel great, and yesterday, just playing in the game was a lot of fun, and you appreciate it when you don't get to play as much.
Stace, obviously, we have heard part of this story here from Aaron Boone and other people talking about Anthony Rizzo, but this is nice to hear directly from him.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Nestor on yesterday's show, where you hear, from the horse's mouth how they're feeling. And I saw another quote from him saying how he felt good being able to see the ball like he's supposed to see it, because when he was going through those head injury problems, that's why he wasn't hitting as well, because he was having trouble with that. So it's good that he's feeling back to normal, because we were worried about that in the offseason. We mentioned it a few times that you never know with that kind of an injury how long someone is going to be affected from it or affected by it. And, even hearing from him, I feel more confident in the way he was sounding when he was talking about how he's feeling now. Last season, you could kind of tell he was holding back, and now you know that he knows that that was a serious thing and that he needs to be more open and let everyone know that, yeah, okay, I'm feeling better now.
I think it's also important to distinguish here that he was learning through it.
Yeah.
It's not like we've all gone through a concussion and we understand what's going on in those moments, right? Like I feel like I've pretty fervently defended his stance he had last season, trying to play through it, like understanding where he was coming from in that moment, because he doesn't really know what's going on. It's not as simple as my toe is broken.
Right.
I feel that. I see it. It's all crooked. You don't know this. It's not the same thing. And to try and like pigeonhole it into that corner, I didn't really like how some of the fan base went in that direction, in either direction, right? Like I thought that while not squeaky clean hands here, it wasn't like the organization was putting them out there, like out to dry, like Michael Jordan on Moron Mountain in Space Jam, having to play one-on-one with the fans while he's tied down on a ball and chain. Like, it's not the same thing here, dude. It's like, forcing him to go out and play. Like,
right.
Like, he's saying he feels good. They ran tests. He passed concussion protocols. Those concussion protocols could change. We know that. They should probably change. And like, we're learning all this together as a sports community. So I still stand by that. I don't think that the Yankees, again, not saying that they're completely clean and, you know, pay no attention to the guy behind the green curtain, but I still don't think they were like outwardly doing something wrong by having him play. We were all learning together how he was feeling and affected by that collision. And so for him to come out and say, yeah, now in hindsight, looking at it, yeah, okay, that was weird. This was weird. This foggy, but I thought it was just the season. I don't really know. And then for him to be like, oh, first round of BP. Oh my gosh. Like, you know, light bulb, boom.
Yeah.
That's when you go, okay, that's good, because now you can distinguish the difference between, oh, that's what was going on, right? It's like, I compare it to relationships a lot, right? So I compare a lot of things to relationships here on this show, weirdly enough. But it's like, you know, like, say like your significant other broke up with you, right? And then you go, oh, wait, I guess there were signs. Like, she said that. Oh, yeah, I guess she did that too. Wait, she didn't really want to hang out with me very often. Like, that's the types of things that you go through here, not just, but you go through in life as a whole. And why would it be any different in this circumstance, right?
Sure. And I think the whole thing with the fans and blaming the Yankees, in a way, it's unfair to the Yankees just because of the history that they've had with injuries in the past and not doing the right thing. So it just felt like an added problem kind of thing. So I kind of understand where the fans were coming from in that regard, just because it's like another one, that kind of a thing. But it is unfair to completely blame the Yankees for that. Because if he's saying he's feeling okay, and if he's passing all these tests, then how would they think that something was wrong?
Yeah, exactly. And then he came to him and was like, something isn't right, actually. Maybe something is wrong. They go, okay, let's figure it out. And then they go and test. Right? They're not going to throw him down on the operating table and like, force him to take these tests. Like,
yeah, let's open his head up.
Look.
Yeah, let's open his brain up and see what's going on in there.
Exactly. Okay, off of that piece now, Rizzo did talk about the additions to the lineup, where he thought they were at, and more specifically on the the good balance now he has left-handed and right-handed in that lineup.
You mentioned some of those additions, and it seems like the lineup is more balanced than it ever has been. How do you think that will help this team?
I just think you're going to have to pick your poison, really, whether you want to bring in a right-hander or left-hander later in the game with all the balance, left, right, and guys can do damage on both sides of the plate. So I think if guys just stay true to who they are, the beauty is no one has to carry this team at any single point. I'm sure it's going to be fun when guys get hot, and hopefully we get hot at the same time. But if guys just are themselves character-wise and performance-wise, we should be pretty good.
Stacey said it a couple of times here in this offseason, especially in the recent months. But I still strongly feel that the Yankees have set themselves up much better than they did last offseason, just by way of giving them more options. And this is another case of that Anthony Rizzo's getting into, is like, look, there's more options here. Like, if someone's cold, we can put this guy in. If someone gets hurt, we can put this guy in. Like, those types of things, you give yourself more options, just ultimately gives you more chances to win.
Yeah, and it's also nice to see a lineup that has more than one lefty in it.
and in power hitting spots too, like in important positions of lineup. It's not like, well, the 8 guy is a lefty. Great.
Right. Yeah. Because it was last season, someone put up the Yankees lineup from either '09 or 2010. And, it still had Posada, it had Tech. So it was switch hitting. It was '09 because Matsui was still in it. He's a lefty. And it was like, left, right, left, right, left, right. And everyone's like, wow, we haven't seen a lineup like that from the Yankees in a really long time because they're so stacked with righties. And, that was why they got Rizzo. It was why they got Joey Gallo. Like they thought, okay, let's add these 2 guys, left-handed, power bats, cool. Obviously, it didn't work out with Gallo, but it worked out with Rizzo. And now they have more options in power positions. And yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about Juan Soto. I really am. I can't wait to watch him in his first game at Yankee Stadium and just see how the crowd reacts to everything. It's going to be great. And Rizzo being healthy, again, he doesn't have to be like he was in the beginning of last season, although that'd be really great because he was like the best hitter in baseball at one point. But if he can be, just his normal self, that already helps the lineup.
Huge addition to the lineup, right? It really is. Not to go Cashman here, but it is a huge addition to the lineup.
Yeah.
It can't go understated how important Anthony Rizzo is going to be in this lineup. I feel like he's a bit of an afterthought at this point because the Juan Soto of this whole thing. But when it comes to this lineup and this construction and the veteran presence and the experience that he has, those are not insignificant. And adding him back in the lineup, having him there every day, talking to Austin Wells, talking to Oswaldo Cabrera, talking to Glaber, talking to Soto. Yeah. All these things are super important. So, excuse me, still getting over a little bit of a cold here. But those are super important. And to have Rizzo back in any capacity is great. And just to see that, like, it wasn't a career-ending injury here. It wasn't this terrible slope off. I think that's great. And hopefully he bounces back in a big way. Time will tell. But I'm hopeful for Anthony Rizzo.
Me too. I'm just happy that he's healthy again. Because, again, like you said, veteran experience can help everyone from the new guys to the guys who've been around a while. Like, it's always good to have that kind of a presence on the bench, in the dugout, on the field.
Let us know how you're feeling about Riz in the comments. And of course, everything else we're talking about here today. We have a little bit more for you guys here on this one. So don't go anywhere. Want to set our expectations for 2024 when we come back.
If you're looking for tickets for just about anything, check out the app Game Time. Steve used Game Time basically all last baseball season and still uses it for hockey tickets. He absolutely loves how easy it is. It's easier than dealing with Ticketmaster, where they have all those hidden fees, which is frustrating every time. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and shows near you. There's no baseball for one more month. You have spring training, but one more month of regular season, but you have hockey and basketball, which are in full swing, and Game Time has deals on tickets right up to just moments before your event starts and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Back here on Locked On Yankees, our final segment here on this edition of today's show. Stacey wanted to set some expectations for 2024 in a couple of separate categories. I'm going to defer to you to start, and then, of course, I'll give you my thoughts. So let's go ahead and start with our first category. What are your expectations when it comes to Aaron Boone? Obviously, contract year for Aaron Boone, right?
Yeah.
Expectations for Booney this year. I'll leave that as open-ended as possible, whatever direction you want to take it.
I'm expecting more of the same from Boone. We talked about it the other day. I feel like people are too hard on him. And I feel like he's the perfect manager for the kind of team that they have. I'll say that. My expectations for him are that he'll be fine in 2024. I think his job will be safe because I feel like the team is going to do well. and I feel like he's going to be safe. I also feel like I saw someone, I can't remember which show it was, but they did an over-under for ejections, and they said 4. I think that's low. I think even with the Yankees doing well, he'll be ejected at least 6 or 7 times. I'll go for 7. That's my expectation. He's gonna be ejected 7 times in 2024.
I guess the word expectation puts me into a bit of an existential crisis because I would expect more. Right? I would expect more out of a major league manager. Look, I've criticized Boone when I think it's necessary, and I praise Boone when I think it's necessary. And every dayers know I do that pretty regularly. I feel like I give Aaron Boone a pretty good shake. I give him a fair chance every time. I give him the benefit of the doubt. He's smarter than I am. Like, come on, let's be real. Like, duh. So, but what I would expect out of a major league manager, given the situation he's in, given in the state he has found himself in his franchise, I would really hope he's more aggressive this year. What I mean by that is we talked about it a lot last season and how I would manage a baseball team, which is more aggressive on to who's playing better at that time. Play the better player. Remember that spat at the owners meeting or whatever that was, the general managers meetings or whatever that was, that everyone got sick at, the GI meetings, the Cashman thing, right? It was that, like, the best player should play. The best player should play. He wouldn't commit to that. And I'm like, this is a simple thing. And that's what I would hope out of Aaron Boone, is he would able to see that and not play the favoritism if it's not warranted. Like, I would like to see a little more cutthroatness out of him when it comes to Giancarlo Stanton. Heck, if it comes to Anthony Rizzo, it comes down to it. Is Austin Wells playing better? Let's see what he's got at first. Is DJ LeMahieu playing better? Throw him over at first. Is Oswald playing good? Throw him at third. Like, be a little bit more aggressive, because you know how important this year is. You need to be aggressive. Hey, that might cost you a couple of times, but also could get you a win a couple of times. So I'd like to see that. When it comes to the rotation, this is the Blake Snell-less rotation. Stacey, what are your expectations from this rotation right now?
See, this is hard because I had big hopes last year before everyone got injured. My expectations are that Garrett Cole is going to have a strong season again. And Clark Schmidt's going to shock the world and do really well, like even better than he did in 2023. I just feel like it's going to be a solid rotation. It's going to surprise a lot of people.
I would hope so. Hope so. As far as, like, I don't think this is not the best rotation in baseball. I'm not going to go, obviously. Like, that's it has potential to be one of the top ones. Sure, I'll give you that. But I don't think this rotation has to be the best rotation in baseball.
Nope.
It can withstand being in the top 12 of Major League Baseball, top 10 of Major League Baseball, and I think that's going to be perfectly fine. Now, when injuries start, inevitably, because they will, they always do.
Always.
Blind if you think it's not going to happen. It's going to happen. Some people are going to miss starts this year. Of course, that's baseball. But when that starts happening, who steps up? I'm expecting someone to step up. Is that Luke Weaver this year? Is that Clayton Beeter? Right? Is that, heck, a Sean Boyle? Like, are we going to see some of those guys kind of step forward, get an opportunity to make the most of it? Kind of like how we saw Johnny Brito at the beginning of 2023. I'm hoping we see that as well, because inevitably you're going to have to call on your secondary alliance. And
I just hope it doesn't happen in April.
or that it doesn't happen all at once. Right. Like,
right.
To call 3 people at once, you only need to call 1. That's the one. Stacey, when it comes to this bullpen, we've talked a lot about this bullpen. We talked a lot about last year's bullpen. Kind of compare and contrast last year versus this year. What are you expecting?
I'm expecting it to be more of the same, even with the different guys in there. I really want to look out for Jonathan Loaisiga, because he's one of those guys that I feel like the expectations for him are low because he's always injured, but he's one of the better bullpen arms that they have. And if he can stay healthy in 2024, that's another weapon that people don't think of, because you have Clay Holmes probably going to be the closer, most likely. You add Caleb Ferguson, but I feel like Loaisiga is a really important part of that bullpen. And I'm really hoping that he has a solid 2024 and a healthy 2024. But with the guys that they lost, I feel like they did a good enough job adding back people, and I feel like it's going to be a similar bullpen. Maybe not as good as 2023, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was as good as 2023.
I think it's going to be as good as 2023, and I have gone on record here, and I'll go on record again. I think they're going to be a little bit better because they have more balance when it comes to left-handed options. And that's going to give you a lot. And look, like Wandy was good last year. He wasn't as good as he was in 2022, but I think Caleb Ferguson's going to step up. I have a lot of faith in that guy. Been in a lot of big ball games, so I like the pen, and I think they're going to be in the top three conversation when it comes to bullpens in baseball. And that kind of leads me here to the last one, Stacey. We kind of going to do this quick. Got to get out of here. But offense, when it comes to offense, we kind of rehashed it a little bit in the Rizzo thing, but I still have high hopes for this offense. Expectations are that it's just more balanced, and it is more balanced as far as not so top heavy as it has been in recent history, that you have a little bit more brevity down in the back end. If you have Alex Verdugo back there, he's not leading off. It is DJ in the front end. You have Alex Verdugo. You have protection for guys like if Stanton goes down for a little bit. And again, I hope that Boone gets a little more aggressive to allow some other guys opportunities to shine there too, if someone is not pulling their weight.
Right. I hope he's aggressive, like you said, and not so rigid and set in his ways. Like, the whole DJ is going to be lead off when he said that in December. And it's like, no, you should see how everything plays out, because I feel like it would be better if the lineup had different guys leading off. You could have Glaber lead off, and you could have Verdugo lead off. You could have DJ in the 6. You could have Glaber in 5. I mean, this lineup can do so much damage in so many different ways, plugging guys into different spots. And I don't want him to be so rigid.
Yeah, we'll see. Let us know your expectations in the comment section. Again, we ran a little long here today, so we got to get out of here, folks. But don't forget, we are Monday through Friday here on Locked On Yankees. The Locked On Yankees Insiders Club is still available. 14-day free trial. Check it out in the episode description. And before you click off of the video, don't forget to reply to that pinned comment here on the YouTube side and get us your questions for Fan Mail Friday. And that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you tomorrow.